I'm not a blacksmith. I'm a blacksmith wannabe. I've been doing this for less than a year. I've heard about this place through a web search. I kind of got interested in blacksmith because of when I was a kid. I helped my grandfather in his blacksmith shop. He made horseshoes and whatnot. Long time ago. So anyway, I've always had an interest. It was always in the back of my mind, and I just got interested in it again. Found this place, and since then I've kind of run with it. I watch a lot of YouTube. You want to get good at something, you have to be willing to fail. And I fail a lot. But from time to time, something comes in. I always learn something when I fail. So with this keychain, I saw a guy do it. He did it in like 15 minutes. Well, it takes me longer than 15 minutes, obviously, because I'm not a blacksmith. But I highly recommend that the first chance you get, try it. The worst thing that can happen is you'll fail, but you'll learn something. So usually I start with about this big, about 3 inches of half-inch stock. You can use 3/4 inch stock if you want to do something bigger, or you can use 3/8 stock if you want to do something smaller. But I thought on this one, I'm going to use a longer stick, longer piece, and then once we do the head, I'm going to bend it over and we'll make a hook. And this will be the top of the hook rather than the keychain. Or you can do it either way, because what I'm going to do is once I do the head, we're going to put it over here in the iron in the hat, and whoever gets it, you can either hammer it down the keychain, or you can hammer it out and make a hook. Your call. So the only thing I'm going to show you how to do is the face. And with dragons, every face is different because dragons fight. They got scars. So if you mess up, no big deal. Your dragon is just a fighter. Now people think that the dragons are mythical, but I'm a firm believer that they were not. If you read Job, I think it's chapter 41, starting about verse 12, God describes an animal that he created, and it is a dragon. If you're interested in it, go read it. These here, you can come, I'll pass these around. These are the marking chisels that I use. They're basically round fullers, small eyes. Some months ago, I had some extra cash, and I bought a set of like 12 of these from an outfit. Okay. I can't remember the name of them.
Fire Furnace Forge.
No. I bought everything from them since. But this outfit here, they make good chisels, but they were kind of hard to deal with. There was a problem with the order, and it was a fight getting it sorted out. So I've never bought from them. But they make good stuff, or did. I don't know if they're still out there or not. But for sure and certain, everything I've bought since then is from Fire Furnace. I also use you can use a flat chisel or a rounded chisel, it doesn't matter. I got a curved chisel that I use from time to time. And you can also do some of this stuff, some of the carving part, you can do that cold. I also made this little shelf to put in the vise so I can set the head up on top of it and hammer into it. I'll show you how that works. So let's get started here. I do watch a lot of YouTube, and that's how I figure out a lot of this stuff. And it's, like I say, it's all trial and error for me. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I try again. I'm retired, so this is just what I do. That and the honeydew list. We mentioned fiery furnace. All my hammers are fiery furnace. I use this double cross peen, and then this one. Then I've got another one that's rounded on both ends. But these two are usually the ones I use 90% of the time when I'm on fork. The first time I did one of these, I actually did it with clay. And just to see how it reacts. The biggest problem I have while forging is if I'm going to make something, what do you do first? Do you do the nose? Do you do the eyes? Do you do the horns? What do you do first? I've tried it several different ways. If you're going to make a keychain, do you flatten this out and then do the face? So I've done it several different ways. And I guess it really boils down to what is best for you. I found out if I flatten this out and then do the face, it's easy to bend back and forth. But if you do the face first and then flatten it out, you have a potential to flatten out the horns because you hit it with a hammer and you flatten the horns out. So what I've kind of started doing is I'll do the face, and I'm going to make a keychain, then I'll flatten it out, and the last thing I do is a hammer in the horns. I bring it over to the anvil and I set it at about 10 degrees. Make something a little sharper than that. This is about what you want. You don't want to hammer it down so much that you lose any of the front. You want as much of that nose as you can that you can leave behind so that you have a place to put the nostrils and to open up a mouth if you want to open that mouth up. Okay. I usually do a slit for the mouth, but I don't open it up, not for a keychain. Now it might be something different for a hook. And here again, it's all personal preference. What do you want the end result to look like? Now normally I do this part with the first heat. Where you're going to put your nostrils, you want to put about a 45-degree bevel right there on the end of the snout. Basically, all you want is something to put the center punch on. You just need a small ledge there for it to go into.
Thank you.
And I normally, like I said, I normally do that with the first heat. You lose heat pretty quick on these. This is just put a small 45-degree angle on the snout, and then when we start doing the face, you'll see why. There's a brush somewhere that I'm not seeing. There's something all over the front. Grab the center punch, keep back your hammer, and then just the center punch where you want the nostrils. And the eyes. I usually have a cup of water close by to cool these off.
Oh, me too.
Let's do it up there.
Here's a slot to here.
Some of the things I don't know, picture, about this business is, like something like this, and you're gonna sell it at a fair, what do you sell it for? You know, $5, $10, $20, you know, what's your time worth? What's the artistic value of it? So those are the things I don't know.
As much as willing as someone to pay, the maximum amount that someone's willing to pay.
A lot of it is, what will the market bear? And I guess that's the trial and error thing. But if I was going to sell this and want to make money at it, counting my time, I would probably start at about $20. But then, if the market doesn't bear that, you know, how much are you willing to do it for? What's your time worth? And I take my smallest puller, my round puller, and with the nostrils, initially I go down to get it started, but then I go in. I got one of them off just a bit.
Okay, let's. Okay.
That top one, that one on my left, you're right. I started in before I got deep enough. You need to go deep and then move the nostril, because if you don't, then it elongates the nostril, and you don't want that. You want the nostril to be round and deep, but then you want the nostril to go into the skull, like the one on my right and your left. I have a question for you. How many of you have done something like you make whatever, think, well, I'll sell this, or I'll, you know, put this in an auction or something, and the wife says, I want that. Yes, what? You know,
I don't have that one.
and then it's invariably, once I do something, my wife's got really 3 very good friends. I call them the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, because when they all 4 get together, it's anybody's guess what's going to happen. So if I make one, I have to make 4, and they're all giveaways. It is what it is. This is a hobby for me. I don't think it's ever been about making money for me, but it would be nice if I could recoup the cost of some of this stuff.
Well, so you got this first 4 kind of worked out the process.
Yeah.
The first 4 you don't start with materials.
Now I'm going to go on the eyes. I use a small fuller first, small round fuller. And then some From there, I go to a little bit bigger fuller for the eyes. Now in the next heat, on the eyes, I'm going to use, now if you notice the eye on my left, your right, is a little bit closer to the edge than the other eye. I prefer that type of eye that's on the right, kind of towards the opposite bit. But I'm going to try to match the one on the right. My right, your left, so that it matches the other one with a little bit bigger fuller. And then once I do that, once I open it up, I'm going to use this little punch. It's got the round eye. Using a little bit bigger fuller here for the eye. And I'm going to take my round punch, my round eye punch, get it right in the center.
So that's like four different punches for the eye.
Yeah, I just try to make the eye bigger with each one. That way I get some depth. If I used this one first, I wouldn't be able to get depth out of it. I would get, it'd be a wide eye, but the socket wouldn't be deep. So I use the smaller round fuller to get it started. And then I use the second one, then the third one. And I've got a couple of bigger ones. If I'm using like 3/4 inch, I got a couple of bigger round ones for those eyes. You kind of have to creep up on it a little bit at a time.
So for those of you who didn't know what I was doing over there, I took a piece of copper and wrapped it on the backside of the jaw. And if you notice, when he was hammering on it that time, the piece didn't start sliding down on it.
Yep.
So that soft piece, it could be copper, aluminum, brass, as long as it's a soft metal, it'll help grab the piece.
Okay, I want to show you what in the eye sockets, what that looks like.
Yeah.
And you can see that one eye is still kind of bugged out a little bit more than it. They don't match. But you know, if anybody can prove to me that dragons don't have weird eyes, then I'll listen to them.
Let me do that. There we go. Okay.
When it comes to, I've got a couple of cameras that I have set up in my forge to get different angles and whatnot. But I can tell you, and he can probably tell you too, that if you add video to your project, you're gonna triple the time it takes you to do things. If you're constantly checking the camera, you're constantly looking at, what did that look like? Do I wanna do it again? Do I wanna move the camera?
I know John Schweitzer of Black Bear Ford just tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
At least 4 times.
I love that guy. There's a couple of guys in Scandinavia that I watch a lot. I can't think of it. One
Jordan Ahmed and
yeah, the Thunder Bear.
Niels Jorgensen.
Yeah.
When it comes to video work, you want to account for at least 4 times.
I'm gonna usually start out with a flat chisel. This is to start the mouth. Now, if your end result is a hook, then you might consider opening the mouth up. You know, you can take that, you can do it with a chisel, or you can put it in a vise and do it and hacksaw it down so that it opens up the mouth. You can open up that mouth a little bit if you're gonna do it with your hook. If you're gonna do this as a keychain, I don't recommend opening the mouth.
Right.
You know, it's just. And you can also bend the mouth around. You'll cut it a bit so that the mouth is extended along the jawline.
Oh, it's okay.
Have any of you had any experience or ever used with an induction forge? Have any of you ever used one of those? I kind of bit the bullet, bought one of those a month ago. First one I bought didn't work. Right out of the box, it would turn on and didn't give me an alarm sound, but it wouldn't work. Anyway, I sent it back and they sent me a new one real quick. And
Steve, is that 110 or 220?
I'm sorry,
Is that a 110 or 220?
it's 220.
220.
And and it has a water tank, you know, to keep it cool. But okay, I'll talk on that here in just a second. We're at a point now where if you can either accentuate a part that you want to accentuate, or you can start kind of giving it some features. And here again, you can do that hot or cold, but what I do like to do hot is I'll take my round chisel and I'll put it right on the end of the snout and kind of follow the curve of my hammer sharp. Follow the curve of the nostril. And then I'll match it up. Now the features, you can do any way you want. You just give it some markings on the snout. And here again, you can do these any way you want. You can do curved lines, straight lines. Checker, you can do them along the sides.
Okay, let's see. There.
Now, something to consider too, and I've done this a couple times, is before you start doing anything, you can kind of turn it on its edge and kind of round off the corners a little bit. To me, half, 6 of one, half dozen the other. To me, it doesn't matter. It's just a different look. In this particular one, I did. The thing about the induction forge that I like, if I want to work on this part of it, I've got the face made, and I want to work on this part. If I want to work on this part, I got to stick that whole thing in the fire. But now you run the risk of those edges of the nostrils, the eyes. You run the risk of overheating those and melting them because there's not really a lot of steel there. So with that induction forge, I can heat that part right there and not affect this at all. And it's really kind of, now the only problem is that the induction forge will not heat as much as this will, which means you have to heat it repeatedly. But I kind of like it. Now, normally, this is where I make my mistake. And that's doing the little horns. I'm going to start down first. And then once I go down, I start to bevel them up.
That's with the curved chisel?
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that the one on the right, your left, didn't turn out the way that we wanted it to. I'm going to mess this up, like usually when I do the little horns. Now it can be fixed. You just get in there and make them a little bit bigger, manipulate it some. And then another thing that you want to consider with these little horns is if it's going to be a keychain stuck in your pocket, you don't want points on these horns because it'll wear a hole in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
If you can run your finger across the tip of it and it hurts, you want to take a file to it and just kind of take the edge off. Now from here, like I say, we can duct, I'm gonna duct up these ears a bit. Or horns, whatever you wanna call them. I've had people call them horns, I've had people call them ears.
Steve, what size breaker did you need for your induction board?
I've got it on a 30 amp, but that's only because, no, I'm sorry, I'll take that back. It takes a 30 amp, and I've got a 50 amp because sometimes when my brother comes to visit, he'll plug his motor home into it. The 30 amp is actually, I think it's rated at 25 amp. I'll verify that.
I'm trying to think if a gas generator that has a 220 plug would handle running.
I know mine goes off at 30 and 50. It works a lot better on it. Start heating it, you will hear it. Because when I got my wife can hear it in our electric box every time. It pulls it hard.
Well, I think that looks a little bit better, but I figure if you're after perfection, find a real blacksmith, not a blacksmith wannabe.
It's a fighting dragon.
Yeah. I'm gonna take this into the wire brush real quick and then bring it around and let everybody show you what it looks like. Okay, so from here, for all intents and purposes, the face is done. And from here, you can either right behind the horns, you can start to taper it down, flatten it out if you're gonna make a keychain out of it. Or you can just kind of, if you're gonna do a hook, then what you'll need to do is have a little bit more of this flat, and you'll heat this up and you'll bend that down so that the dragon is facing down, and then this hook will come up this way. So it just depends on how you want it to look. But if you're gonna do a hook, then you'll start tapering about an inch and a quarter down, and then taper all of this and make your hook. But if you're gonna do a keychain, then chances are about 1.5 inches down is all you're gonna use, because you can taper that out and flatten it out, and it's gonna elongate it.
Okay, let me get that good. Okay. Yep. Thank you.
So as far as, like I said, as far as the face is concerned, that's pretty much where we're at. They're a lot of fun. It really didn't take a long time to make. What have been 30 minutes, 45 minutes?
40 minutes.
Okay, and and most of that 40 minutes has been, talking. So maybe 20 minutes, you can make one of these 30 minutes. Like I said, they're a lot of fun, make great gifts. Now, if you notice when you're looking at it, down inside the eyes, there's some of the soot and oh, help me out here, that
Scale?
scale inside the eyes, and eventually that will come out. But if you're of a mind that you're going to give this away quickly, you can take it. I got a little sandblaster. I put it in there. I'll just sandblast that stuff out. And then what I'll do is I will take this and put it in my little oven at about 475 for about an hour. And then I'll bring it out for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I will douse it down with beeswax so that it doesn't get all crusty on you.
So Steve, if you ever have cause to find out what the market would bear from one of those, please share it with us.
Okay, I'll do that. Like I say, I've made a bunch of things, candlestick holders. I've done some. I've tried my hand with the rose thing. One weekend I was here and I won a 55-gallon drum lid. Well, I cut a bunch of rose petals out of a plasma buster and I made some candlesticks. And they turned out really, really well, but my wife gave them away in an instant. They were gone, you know. But I haven't sold a thing yet, but I'm having a good time.
All that matters in the end.
Yeah.
As far as selling it, I think a big part of it depends on where you're selling it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I mean, if you carry it up here to, merchant's outlet, the price is going to be significantly different than if you took it to a high-end craft fair in Nashville.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, Robbie had a story about that. Just like different place.
If you did it at the Red Fair,
yeah.
you probably charge $30 for it.
Oh, easily.
Especially with the dragon.
Yeah. You could do a wolf's head, dragon head, mole.
Now I have two nieces that I just love them like they're my own, and I want to make, using 3/4 inch stock, a dragon head that kind of comes up like this, and it's going to try to put a couple of legs on it, and then it have the body kind of swirl around this way, then come up, and you know how you can take the end of a rod, flare it out, and then fold it into a candle holder. That's what I want to do using 3/4 inch stock. And then it's a lot of hammering, 3/4 inch stock, but all I got is time.
Okay.
So I'm going to put in a word here for Fiery Furnace Forge. Man, they make good stuff. They do. And if you ever have a chance, go up there to their shop. These are a couple of young kids. They are very good at what they do.
Where's that at?
It's up in Kentucky, about
It's
4
just
hours
up-
from here.
Yeah, it's just up north of Bowling Green.
Coving?
Shop is.
Coving.
Yeah, it's in Covington or
Yeah.
it's something like that.
Yeah, but and it's kind of out in the country. I mean, if kind of like Moonshine, Illinois, if you don't know where it's at, you ain't gonna find it.
Yeah, Dave and his brother are kind of like the prepper type. They're
Yeah.
homesteader type people.
Yeah.
So
Really,
they're
really
out.
nice guys. I've been there twice, and they're good people.
Very good people. Very good people. This coming
pretty good hammer class.
Yeah, Fire Furnace Forge, yeah. This coming year, we'll have the AACB conference here in Murfreesboro, and Dave's always there. He'll have a shop set up there and everything else. So if you can't get out to his shop, make sure you stop and talk to him. They're very, very good people. He came and did a hammer making class here with us to make a hammer completely by hand and using these striking anvils and stuff that we have here. So really good guy.
Ready to thank Steve?
As soon as you're done. Are you done, Steve?
I'm done.
All right.
I hope you enjoyed
Everybody
it.
give Steve
Yeah.
a round of applause.
And,
Thank you very much.
Full disclosure, I'm sure I didn't teach you all anything. But other than the fact that there's probably 3 mistakes in that little project, but it's still a neat little thing. And if you give that to somebody, they're gonna be, oh, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. They might be lying to you, but you still get some work.
You must have been teaching good because we didn't harass you at all, so.
I'm sorry?
You must have been teaching good because we didn't harass you at all.
Oh, okay.
I can speak from experience.